All right, let's get back into this because the Bible is not about being rich. It's not about being poor either. Okay. I'm going to read. I don't know if you noticed the picture that I used for this first video. This is part 2. Is money business biblical? Is money making business biblical? Is it okay for us to make passive income? Is it okay? Right now, the way I feel, I could use a good prosperity preacher. But this guy, Myron Golden, that I posted on the picture to this video, the last video, and I might post a different picture of him on this video. Myron Golden. Myron Golden is a born-again Christian who teaches money and finances and how to get out of debt and riches. He teaches you how to become wealthy over a small period of time. And I've been listening to him. I just met him a few days ago. And I've been following him. And I'm going to continue to follow him. He's the kind of prosperity preacher that I'm into. I like that. He's the kind of prosperity preacher that I'm into. Because I don't think you need to get up there and sing songs and get everybody, hallelujah, mama, come on, give me, come on. You know, you don't need to do all that to talk about money. What's the sermon today? We're going to talk about money. Okay. Not, we're going to talk about salvation. But, you know, if you sow, you'll see. There'll be more salvation where that came from. You know, salvation doesn't work like that. Money is secular. Homes, cars, money, toys. Homes, cars, money, and toys. And conveniences, you know. If you got a knife, a little knife to cut your apple, all the way to a big old ninja sword in your house. That's all conveniences. That's all toys. Money, cars, homes, toys, and conveniences are all secular. There's nothing religious or Christian about any of that except the fact that God is the God of your life in this world as well as your life in the world to come. Let me say it again. God is the God of your life in this world as well as the life to come. And it says even the Christian faith is not only promise of this life, but in the life to come. Okay? So, I'm a dreamer, as you know, and God has given me dreams as to what it will be like in the kingdom of heaven. And unless we're going to just be wearing white all day, every day, and singing songs and trying to beat the angels at praising God, we are going to be the wealthiest people on the planet. Not because we have anything to show for it, but because we don't have to buy anything. It's all ours. Everything is your brand when we go to heaven. Whether we're going to, let's say, how do you know that we won't have cars and homes in heaven? Well, I'm sure, I'm sure we will. Even though our physical bodies will be well off to live in a jungle, live in the woods with the lions, okay? But I believe we will live in homes. And the reason we know that is because the number one thing in the Bible is the New Jerusalem. So you telling me God is going to be in a temple? He's going to be actually in a temple or a castle, or he's going to be in the New Jerusalem in his housing. But we're all going to live in the bush, in the weeds. No, it's not going to be like that. But God gave me a vision, not a vision, a dream, I'm sorry. God gave me a dream that everything that we have in the kingdom of heaven will be our brand. If I own a car, it was made for me. It's mine. It's mine because, it's not like, oh, you got a Ford, you got a Nissan. No, I got a DeRoy Cruise. My house, made for me. Can other people come and stay at my house? Yeah, if I give them permission, they can stay at my house. And they can drive my car too. Matter of fact, I don't know if the dream was symbolic or if it was just actual what it will be like in heaven. But I had these two nice cars, and I took my car to a dude to fix it. And I know it sounds like I'm off my rocker, but this dude fixed my car for free because there's no money in the kingdom of heaven. He fixed my car because he knew me, he loved me. I'm his brother in the Lord. And this is what he does all day long. He fixes stuff. Like, he's an engineer. He fixes cars. He does this out of pleasure. And he couldn't wait to get his hands on my car and fix it. Because even though I'm in a glorified body, the car was physical, And I don't know if this is symbolic of something else or what, but it was symbolic of some things that might go in heaven. Now, some people would say, well, why would you drive when you can fly? Probably the same reason why Superman took the subway when he could fly. You know what I'm saying, But I don't think there will be any subways in heaven, or it might be. I doubt it, though. But I think God wants us to, whatever we enjoyed here on earth, we will enjoy again in the kingdom of heaven. But anyway, I wanted to take my cars down, show them to my daughters, and let them drive my cars. And so one car needed a little fixing on it. So I told the dude, I left my car there at his house. And the dream doesn't show how I got home. I just started walking. I walked all the way home. You shall mount up with wings as eagle and not be weary or faint. Okay. I just started walking and I got home. And when I got home, there was nobody home. The place was quiet. And I felt a little bit unsatisfactory with that. So what did I do? I walked into the jungle. I went home. Everybody that lived next door to me. And see, my personality in this dream matched the way I was living. My house matched my personality. Because I'm the guy, I don't like big space. I don't like, it's not a fear. It's just, I'm not a big space person. Unless I'm living with someone. I had other dreams about women in the kingdom of heaven. And, I had other dreams insinuating that I actually lived with someone. A wife. Now the Bible says that there are no marriages in heaven, but there wasn't no marriages in the Garden of Eden either. God made Eve, okay, and brought her to Adam. They never had a wedding. The only wedding they had was the words out of Adam's mouth. This is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And the Bible clearly states that when we go to heaven, what's it say? The tree of life is reserved for the last death. It's reserved for when we go into the new life. When we go into the new Jerusalem, we will be healed. There will be no hospitals. We'll be healed from the tree of life. So you're living a life where your body can still undergo things. You're living a life where you're still going to have some kind of physicality there. Okay? If I said that right. You're going to have that. And so, in the kingdom of heaven, I do believe that God will bless some of us to be happily married. Not married like we're here on earth, not married to where, I believe that, like, in the dreams that I've had, the men weren't always like home. The women were doing their thing and the men were doing their thing. Women were doing things with the women and men were doing things with the men. And you would just be out grabbing fruit. Okay? And we even went into the market. The thing is, the market, it didn't cost us nothing. You went into the market, you put the fruit in the basket and walked out. And if it wasn't there, then you could climb up a tree and get it yourself. But, there were people that climbed trees and collected fruit, but it didn't cost you anything. There were people who did everything you needed. There were people all day long. They build things. And it's their gift to build things. And there's people who pick fruit. And nowhere in any of my dreams did I eat one drop of meat. But I ate, I do believe I ate man and quail in some of my dreams. And one of the things that I dreamed about heaven is that there will be no worry of security in your home. There won't be no jealousy, if somebody talks to my wife, they talk to her in a place where they can talk to her. In my dreams, there's a woman there and we get in a small argument, and the guy that was there, a guest in my home, he's sitting there, he's alone with my wife when I walked in. And me and her getting a small argument, having nothing to do with him, something she did or she didn't do, and I gave her a small argument, and she just smiled at me and laughed at me. And she couldn't get, I addressed her, but there was no way for her to get angry at me or anything like we would today, and she was able to, next thing you know, it was, he knew. As a man, he knew it's time for him to go because we about to get down to business. Okay? That one little minute conversation turned into, And I dreamt that the people that are in ministry here on earth will be in ministry in the kingdom of heaven, but they will show you how to, they will all be motivational. There won't be like, we need to go to church and, no, we'll go out at night and we'll listen to motivational people tell us how to keep our lives happy. And I had dreamt that my senior pastor that I missed very much, the late Reverend Willie Spencer, I dreamt that I found him in a coffee house. I found him at a coffee house. That might be symbolic, I don't know. But I found him in a coffee house preaching, but he was preaching motivation. He wasn't preaching like he was having church. Okay? He was talking like Joel Osteen. Okay? And I know he's a fire and brimstone preacher, but see, there's no more fire and brimstone in the kingdom of heaven. But he was speaking motivation, and people were coming up, and he was grabbing their hands like he always did and praying for them, talking to God with them. Okay? I think if we read the scriptures, I think it's okay for us to dream and have visions, which there's people here on YouTube, online, that will hate that. Okay? They will hate that. They don't want you to, but I believe it's okay to believe in what we can't completely see, because the scriptures don't give us 100% detail. I believe that you can bring collaborative scriptures together and say, well, this is like this, because Adam and Eve were in the garden, and they were male and female before the fall. And whether Adam and Eve first had sex before or after the fall, they were sexual beings before the fall, and they were naked. And God created Eve to be a companion, that the man should not be alone. So I honestly believe that in the kingdom of heaven, I honestly believe there will be couples. There will be husband and wife. There might not be no weddings, because if God put two people together, they don't need a wedding. Okay? And I had one dream where I went into a market and met my wife. And I knew by spirit that's my wife. Now, this is where I, say crazy things. Okay? But, when I look at the scriptures, not just Matthew 19, but all the scriptures, there's a lot more to scriptures. We think those scriptures are for now. They're not for now. Okay? They're for when we get there. We're just passing through here. We're not trying to be here, any longer than we need to be. But I dreamt that, because I had a question in my head. If God bless us with wives, and I was thinking about this a lot, and one day I had a dream. But I was thinking, if God blessed me with a wife in the new world, in the new Jerusalem, is he going to give me the Asian girl? Because Lord, how I like Asian women. That's my thing. I like Asian women. And I had a dream. Maybe because I was thinking about it. Where my wife was Asian. And like here in America, she had all her family in my house. And just like here in America, I don't like people in my house. But the thing was that they were in my house. They were very respectful of me. They were glad to see me. They treated me like the king of my castle. And I sat there and I just wanted her to have her time with her family. And again, boom. Something said, if you go get your wife and go boom, you won't feel this way. And I went out to her and it was boom. We disappeared away to some other part of the house while her family enjoyed our food and all like that. And, you know, sounds like something out of a Cheech and Chong movie, don't it? But I'm telling you, you know. But then God gave me another dream where the woman that I found out was my wife was black. And I found her. I went to the market to get fruit. And she walked past me. And I knew that was my wife. That, oh, that's what she looks like. Because I haven't been with her yet. And she looked at me. And I looked at her. And we just kept on walking. We stopped and looked at each other. And we gave each other a little quick smile. And then we walked past. And I said, that's my wife. And it was, she was a black woman. She wasn't Asian this time. She was, you know. And in the kingdom of heaven, if you have, there's no, I've been places where, you know, like the kingdom of heaven, they have their own animals up there and stuff. And people often say, this is all part of wealth, so I'm throwing this in here. But people often ask, will there be dogs and cats in heaven? And I think there will be all kinds of animals in heaven. I think it'll be like Adam and Eve all over again, naming the animals or whatever. But I think that, yes, and even the animals had glorified bodies in the kingdom of heaven. That's why these ones down here don't, you know. So there was a dream I had, this is really weird, where I worked in this big building. I dreamt all kinds of things. I dreamt that I went back to school and I was there with people that looked like they were way younger than me. But it was like I went back to school because I didn't get to finish school while I was here. So I went to school in the kingdom of heaven. I don't know. That might be symbolic of something. I don't know. But I went to school in the kingdom of heaven in one dream I had. In another dream, what was I going to say? I dreamt that we had a factory where we made products. And I worked there for a little bit of time. And one of the reasons why I worked there is because I was an artist, which right now I am a student artist. I'm teaching myself art. But in this dream, I worked art as a living. I also made ukuleles and guitars in some dreams that I've had because I am a musician. I play ukulele, guitars. I built my own guitar. And everybody, again, everything is your brand. Anything you touch is made for you. It's your brand. So when I played my guitar, it wasn't Fender or Gibson. It was my brand that I named my guitar. It was my brand. And everybody wanted to play with mine, and I wanted to play with theirs. We all had our weird-looking guitars and all like that. But then there was this dog. And I'm not a dog lover. When we get to the kingdom of heaven, I'm still not a dog lover. And so there's a dog running around the shop. A little cute little cockapoodle, which I had one. This dog was able to, whenever he did not want you telling him what to do, he would try to become transparent. He would try to, he would disappear. And in this dream, this one dream, I could see him even after he disappeared. If I chose to, if I looked for him, I could find him with my superhuman eyes, because the room would become completely dark, and the only light that's in the room is this dog trying to hide himself. Totally amazing stuff in these dreams. And I really believe some of it is going to be 100% true. Some of it may be symbolic. Some of it may be, but up in the kingdom of heaven, everybody's rich. Everything is yours. And I mean that it's like I had like several vehicles that might be symbolic. Don't get all crazy on me. That might be symbolic. If you can show me a scripture that definitely says there will be no motor vehicles in the kingdom of heaven, let me know. But for some reason, more than once, I've dreamt that. And whatever you touched, you own the car that you own. Everything was made for you. There was no brand names. You were the brand. Everybody is their own brand. Everything you touch is yours. Your houses were made for you. You know what I'm saying? So if, you know what I'm saying? And then you would go to places. And you know what else I saw in these dreams? Every country is going to be that serve the Lord. They're going to live out their culture in the New Jerusalem. And in my dreams, I had people that I went to visit that were Indian, Arab, which right now you couldn't pay me to go to the Middle East. But in my dreams, I did go to the Middle East. And people were dressed in the Middle East like they're dressed right now. Their head covered and all like that. And then, but they were all Christian. And you could walk right into their homes and eat. Okay? I also wonder if this is true about the kingdom of heaven as well. In the kingdom of heaven, you wonder why people die at different ages. I believe because in the dreams that I've had, everybody was only a little bit younger than what they were when they died. Like, you were younger enough. Like, people that died, like there were kids, okay, that were still kids. They were babies. And they're never going to grow. They're going to be that way. Okay. There were people that died at a real old age, and they had energy that will never die. They had a crazy amount of energy. They could run, jump, fly. They could do all kinds of things. But they looked just a little bit younger than the way they did when they died. My pastor, as I mentioned earlier, my senior pastor, he looked a little bit younger than what he was before he died. He looked like Denzel Washington in this dream. I mean, he was sharp. But he looked better than, he looked like a younger Denzel Washington. He was really sharp looking, but you knew it was him. And he was so healthy and so well put together. And I also dreamt this. We say whatever we bind on earth will be bound in heaven. I dreamt that there were black people in heaven that were afraid to leave their small domain and venture out. And me, as someone who has never suffered that, I've never had those symptoms. I've always been a colorful man when it comes to America. Okay? I would go down to my old neighborhood. Now, we're in the kingdom of heaven. But there were people that were bound in this old church. Now, this church was now huge. And when you go into it, it's bigger inside than it is outside. I mean, there's just like, the auditorium that we used to worship God in turned into a coliseum. We had like 2 civic arenas in that place. And people were living inside this church. And I'm thinking, because, we don't need to have church like we used to. People were actually living, black people living inside this church. And it was symbolic on this end. I don't know if that's what's going to be on the other side, because you figure there's all these black people and all these white people that still have this fear of, white folks having fear of black folks and black folks having fear of white folks. And if you don't, you figure, does God punish people for racial behavior? Does God, if it's just a fear that you have and not that you're really trying to be racist, but it's a fear that you have because you were brought up like that. In my dream, I found out that people that didn't conquer that fear in the name of Jesus, they took that fear to the kingdom with them. And so I would go visit my old church in the kingdom of heaven that I was born and raised in. And these people were bound to this place. They didn't go outside. And if they went outside, they never left the block. They were, you know what I mean? It was almost like jail. They were afraid to leave the block. They were still dealing with racial issues in the kingdom of heaven. Now, they weren't like hating on white people, but they were bound in a way to where they couldn't evolve. They couldn't get out and just be with everybody. I was with everybody. The same way I am now. I was in the kingdom of heaven. I had everybody. I had friends everywhere. And I had people doing things for me here and there. People showing me things. People, I went back to school and I was getting tutored, and all this was going on in the kingdom of heaven. I was an old man taking classes with people way younger than me, but they treated me like I was one of them. They didn't treat me like, oh, here come the old man. Can he fight? Can he do this? No. They treated me with honor and respect because they knew I was older than all of them. They treated me like I was more mature than all of them. And it was kind of like they treat. But I'm saying all this to say that let the Bible expand your mind, and let anything that God gives you in relation to the Bible expand your mind and your heart and your spirit, because the Bible is bigger than theology. The Bible is bigger than, I'm going to read this in chapter 5 of Ecclesiastes. Myron Golden is his name. If you can look up some of his content, that would be great. Let's go to 5. There's more to read here. I'm going to read that and then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to do a part 3. I'm going to read 7. We'll see. If you observe in a district the oppression of the poor and violation of justice and righteousness, do not be astounded by the matter. For the high official is watched over by an even higher official, and there are even higher officials over them. But this is an advantage to the land in every way, a king committed to a cultivated field. The one who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver. Now, in New King James, that's talking about money. Why they decided to switch this to silver in the MEV, this is the kind of stuff our Facebook MEV fans are fussing about. Okay, let me see what it says in the King James. They probably said silver because the King James says silver. So let me see if that's what it says in the King James. What is that? Ecclesiastes 5:10. They're letting you know that, you have to say silver because you're in an older time. They didn't call it money. They called it silver. Okay. 5:10. Let's see here. He that loves silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. So I think the King James says silver, so the MEV says silver. Trying to be more King James like. But I think the New King James says money, because it's supposed to say money. That's what you're talking about. They need, that's what you're talking about. And I know the word money is mentioned in the MEV somewhere, so I don't know why they did that. But anyway, 5 and 10 in the New King James. Okay. Oh, it says up here silver, but then down here, okay, he who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. And okay, but the MEV is consistent with the word silver, whereas the New King James says both silver and money. They're both the same thing. They're money. Why say it's silver in one place and money in another? It's money. But anyway, let's read it here. The one who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver. The one who loves money desires revenues in abundance. This also is vanity. Okay, I thought they were talking about the same thing. Sorry, folks. Okay, he kind of took it out there with money. So he said silver and then he said money. That's talking about the same thing. Let's see what the New King James says. Nope. The New King James does not mention silver or money. It just says, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. I tell you what, this MEV, you really are learning some things. Going back in tradition and that. But the one who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver. The one who loves money desires revenues in abundance. This also is vanity. When there is an increase of good things, there is an increase of those who devour them. Okay? So more money, more problems. Okay? And what profit is there to the one who owns good things, except to see them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of one who works hard, whether he eats little or much. So, Bible's got nothing against working hard either. But due to the excess of the rich, there will be no sleep for him. Okay? So, you work hard and you sleep well until you realize that there are people that don't work hard and they make more money than you. Is that fair? It's not fair. Sweet is the sleep of one who works hard, whether he's little or much. But due to the access of the rich, there will be no sleep for him. There is a grave misery that I have observed under the sun, when riches were kept by an owner to his hurt, and those riches were lost in an unfortunate business deal. Now, this is really modern compared to the way the New King James would say it, even though the New King James would say money, he's saying silver, okay? And although he has a son, there is nothing left to put in his hand. And see, a lot of people don't think about that. Your wealth is not for you, just for you. And those that give you pleasure at that moment. Your wealth is so your kid don't have to work at McDonald's. Your kids, your grandkids and kids don't have to do housekeeping for a living when they, are ready to work, okay? They can get a head start by you leaving a legacy of wealth for them, okay? When riches were hurt by an owner to his own hurt, and those riches were lost in an unfortunate business deal. And although he has a son, there is nothing left to put in his hand. As he came from his mother's womb naked, he will depart as he came. He will not take anything for his labor, which he may carry away with his hands. So, when you die, your money stays here. And this also is a grave misery. As he entered, so will he leave. You came in here with nothing, you leaving with nothing, okay? What benefit is there to the one who toils for the wind? Now, if you are working and working and working and working, and you're going to work and work and work for the rest of your life, you're toiling for the wind. You want to turn. That's why I sit up here. I see what the MEV is trying to do up here. It's trying to get you to see what Solomon is really saying here, because Solomon was rich. Okay? He entered, so will he leave. What benefit is there to the one who toils for the wind? Moreover, in all his days he eats in darkness, while he is greatly irritated by sickness and anger. Okay, and I'm going to stop there for 5. Let's go over to 7. I think I can do this all in one video. Verse 7, we're going to start at verse 11. Wisdom is good as an inheritance, and advantage to those who see the sun. For the protective shadow of wisdom is like the protective shadow of silver. Where the New King James says wisdom is a defense as money is a defense. The MEV trying to be modern here kind of made it a little bit more unmodern. Wisdom is good as an inheritance and advantage to those who see the sun. For the protective shadow of wisdom is like the protective shadow of silver. Money and wisdom are both, if you have both, like God gave Solomon money and wisdom, And I've heard people tell me, well, D-Roy, why don't you just let God give you wisdom instead of you worrying about money and all the things that you don't have? Why don't you just let God give you wisdom? But God gave Solomon wisdom and money. Solomon only wanted wisdom. God gave him wisdom and money. And the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the life of the one who possesses it. This is the thing. Like, how do you have wisdom and you don't have money? People that have wisdom find ways to get a hold of money that they need for whatever they need it for. If you need money for something important, you're going to find an income that is good enough for you. Just like, when I was back when I was married, and my wife and I, because she never went back to work, but she would fight with me about money, knowing that, my skill set and my money set didn't really provide for a family of 6, but we was doing it. When I was married, she, we went through counseling, financial counseling as well as marriage counseling, and they told me how to put money aside and invest money and not to spend money on certain things and all like that. But my ex wouldn't listen. And it led to us, because, if you don't want me to be the king of my castle, then you better be one heck of a good queen of my castle. I'll shut up and let you be queen, but you better be darn good at what you doing, girl. And she wasn't. She was horrible. She totally forgot about the rest of the family and took my money and spent it on herself. And so I locked down my account, and she was like, that's it. It's over. I'm like, okay. Sorry, but when you accuse me of being selfish, and then you be selfish with my own money that I'm out there sweating and working for, and then you try to do your own thing with my money, causing the kids to miss out on something, causing the bills to miss out, causing me to miss out, then I gotta step outside the whole togetherness thing, and I'm staying alone for a second. And I have to tell you, if you need any money, I got the money in a new account. Let me know if you need any money. And that was it. We were done when I did that. But hey, we were done when you decided to overdraft my account on yourself after you just got done lecturing me about not having enough money there. Like, okay, I spend the money on y'all. Maybe once a year when income tax comes in because we're claiming the kids, then I can worry about my guitar collection and some things I need. But I don't even get underdraws until income tax come in. I'm wearing holy underdraws until that income tax check come in, and then, oh please, sweetheart, let me get some draws. Consider the work of God, who can make straight what he has made crooked. In the day of prosperity be joyful. Now you just saying, it said that, he that worships silver will not be satisfied with silver, right? But it says, in the day of prosperity be joyful. But in the day of adversity consider, God has made the one as well as the other. Us that have something are going to receive more adversity. Just like if you're saved, you're going to go through persecution. If you got money, you're going to go through persecution. People are going to hate you. A lot of people are hated by their own family because they have money. Because everybody's like, well, unless you writing out a check, what do you need a check for? I don't know. I'll think of something. Well, that's not the way we do things. If you got to think about it, you don't need it. Okay? God has made the one as well as the other so that people may not find out anything that comes after them. So, we know and have faith about wisdom and money based upon reading and letting God expand our minds. Okay? So, I got that all in one video, but I got a feeling I'm going to do a part 3, maybe not. If not today, sometime tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe sometime next week or something. But I got a feeling I'm going to be talking about this subject more because God is not just a God that teaches us how to be content with anything. But the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not what? Lack. I have everything that I need. And if I don't have everything I need, the Lord is prospering me. But but the Lord cannot only bless me with what I need, but he can prosper me to have more than what I need, which means I should be using some of that to give to the poor, to give to the church, give to those in need. I should be one of them. I should be giving to charity. I should be giving to the homeless. I should be giving to missions. Yes. much more is given, much more is required. Okay? I should. But if God want to bless me with that lifestyle where, I drive an Audi or I drive a Mercedes, what law in the Bible says I'm not allowed to drive a Mercedes as a man of God? What law in the Bible says I can't wear alligator shoes or blue suede shoes or leather shoes? What law says I can't wear a $500 pair of shoes? Now, me, I don't really care about how much the shoes cost. I just care about how they look. I have a nice pair of suede shoes that I just bought over there, and they cost me under $100. Very nice pair of suede shoes that they were on sale at Walmart or Target. No, I got them at Shoe Department, and they're awesome. But it's not what the shoes cost, it's what they look like. Okay. I saw a video. I was going through my Google Photos account just the other day, and I saw a pair of shoes that I got floating around the house somewhere that got 3 colors on them. And these shoes were pretty pricey when I got them. I got them at Clark's at South Hills Village Mall years ago back when I first moved into this town and came back to this town. I was born and raised here. I came back in 2015. I got them at Clark's Shoes, and these shoes are nice looking. They are pretty hot. But again, those shoes cost me Clark's money. They did not. Clark only charged me, I think I got them shoes for like $75 to $100 even with tax. Okay. And that was back in 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. But God is not against money. And if you are in a poverty place, God does not mind you doing whatever you need to do within the limits of being a Christian to get yourself out of that situation. And if you need more because you and your wife or your kids, or even you single and lonely by yourself, you want to do things because you are lonely. You want to do things to make up for that's not there. So you spend a certain amount of money on yourself for what's missing. That's okay too. As long as you are a good steward and you give, okay, and you're responsible, you are your brother's keeper. You're a good steward, you give, and you are your brother's keeper with your money. You know when and who to give to right in the nick of time because you have it. And you got these people on these GoFundMe programs, and I'm sure the majority of them ain't Christian. Are we going to let the world beat us at spending and using money properly and having money saved up enough so that we can do other things with money than spend it on ourselves? Not as Christians, we're not. We're not going to live out. We're not going to live like that. God said, give. And give without necessity. After that, the rest is yours. That's what you need to be concerned about, the Cliff O'Dollars and the Kenneth Copelands and the Benny Hinns. What are you doing with that money besides spending that money on planes and cars and, I'm looking at your church there. Them churches don't look like they slums. They don't look poor. Them churches look like they cost money. And that's coming out of the congregation's pocket too. So I don't see an issue. I really don't. I don't see an issue. Now, if they're preaching bad sermons, I agree. But they're not preaching bad sermons because they're rich. That's a separate issue. Money is secular. It's not Christian to begin with. Just like God blesses you to live here on the devil's earth. God blesses you to have money on the devil's earth because that's the second god of this earth is money. Without it, you can't live. Without it, you can't. Water costs money in 2025. Okay? Unless you got your own pond and you stream in your own water, you got your own chickens and hens and ducks and you got your own, cows running around in the backyard, whatever. Okay? It costs money. It costs money. And something happened to one of them cows. You wanted a dog, something happened to the dog. When I hear about the amount of money that people spend on their dogs and cats, I'm like, maybe you should get a gun and give the dog or cat a nice funeral. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I think I'd have to shoot my dog or shoot my cat before I spend thousands of dollars on my dog or cat. That's coming from a guy that ain't an animal lover like some of y'all are. But some of y'all leave your kid in the hospital while y'all go spend money on your cat or your dog. Your kid in the hospital dying of leukemia, you worried, no, I think you need to put the dog to sleep, put the cat to sleep, and go spend money on your kid in the hospital that got leukemia or whatever, But let me get out of here. Thank you for watching again. I can't believe I got that all out in one video and talking about the kingdom of heaven and all like that. But talk to you soon with more in a couple days or so or less, Lord willing.